So in this lecture, we'll be talking about font styling. We continue with our discussion on fonts and manipulating fonts. So there are three main properties that we have to be aware of when we are dealing with font styling. So for instance, let me just put some comments here, give us a rundown. So we have this font weight property, font weight, I think it's font style and font decoration, and we'll be going through each one of these. So font weight basically sets the sort of whether it's bold or not bold. So for example, let's just say I wanted to change this. Instead, I want to make it Verdana. This will make it very noticeable. So Verdana here, and text should be in Verdana. So now I'm going to take this font and then make it bolder using the font weight property. So font weight, let's just say bold. That's just one property here. As you can see, now it's bolder. Okay, now there are other properties that exist as well. Normal, which is like the default, right? So this is like the default here. Another one would be bolder, which would make it noticeably bolder, but of course, perhaps for most practical purposes, we don't need that. So we have normal and bolder. And we can also just use values like 100 up to 900. So 100 up to 900. So 100 is lighter, 900 is boldest, 700 is your normal bold. So for example, here we'll just make it very thin. And excuse me, I have to put semicolon. So make it very thin. And if I incrementally increase the font weight here, it should be bolder and bolder. 400. There you go. 500. Just keeps going. It depends if the font actually supports this property, this numerical value. So 700, you see, it's getting bolder here. And 900 would be the maximum, typically. Certainly you can look at the documentation. However, this is how the basic font weight property works. And now move on to the next property, which is the font style. Basically, here we're dealing with just like your normal italics. So we can just italicize the text. So let me just demonstrate how this works. So you can just add a new property as a font style italic, for instance, italic. So I'm selecting this paragraph, and now I've just made it italic. So typically, just as in the font weight property, there's normal. So normal is just the default. There's also oblique, which is very similar to like italic, but it's not quite italic. But for most practical purposes, all you need is normal and italic. So that's how that works. And now let's just add one more property here, namely the text decoration or the text decoration. And this basically adds like styles to your, it adds lines to your text. So for example, overline and here. So overline will just add overlines here and overline here. And underline is another property value, and it will just underline your text the following way. And what else exists? Line through. So yeah, line through here. As you can guess, it probably just goes through and scratches it out like so. Is it line through or is it line dash through? There we go. So it's line dash through. Just make sure you get this correctly. And what if I just wanted to remove just one word, right? And here I could just use the span property. Just span, and here I could just go span. This is just an inline element, and we'll just be highlighting whatever's inside the tag here. So for example, let me just select all span elements here that exist in this website or web page. So I can just span here, and I can just go font text decoration rather, text decoration line through. Yeah, so in a similar fashion, I just have to remove this line through here. Just delete that. Okay. So if I do that, now we see only the paragraph, the word paragraph is removed here. And certainly, again, we could just cut this out. And if we cut this out, okay, it's going back to normal. Then we can just use inline styles if you wanted to. So we just go to the span tag here, add a property called style, and then we just say here, line through in the following way. Text decoration line through, just using the inline style. Excuse me, what happened there? So style, text decoration, line through, see decoration. So there we go. So this works. So you can just use it here in the inline styling, or you can just go up to the style tag. So you can just go up to the style tag here and just add the property here. So that's how that works. Thank you very much.